Have you ever wondered how does a screen reader user jump straight to the main content or skip the repeatable content to find the main section? What makes that possible is not magic. It's ARIA Landmarks, one of the simplest but most powerful accessibility features. Today, I will walk you through 8 ARIA landmarks, what they do, how to use them, and the best practices even senior developers miss. By the end of this video, you will not only know what each landmark means, you will know how to use them to build and test for accessibility. Watch this video till the end to discover what does NVDA screen reader announces for each landmark. Subscribe to this channel and comment which landmark do you use the most. To understand why landmarks matter, imagine arriving at a cricket stadium. Signs are everywhere, guiding you to your seat, your restroom, and the exit. Now rip off all those signs, and suddenly it's chaos. How long before you get lost or give up? That's what web navigation is like for screen reader users on badly marked websites. Sighted users can still see the structure. But if you use a screen reader, you rely on landmarks. Landmarks are the signposts of your website. They let you jump right to the main content, navigation, or skip the boring parts of your website. They turn your code into a navigatable map that anyone can use. And that, my friend, is the real magic of accessibility. Let's talk about the major ARIA landmarks, and I will share examples plus the best practices for each landmark. To begin with, we have header or banner landmark. This is the first landmark on any website, and it is always at the top. It typically includes a logo and your primary navigation menu. So use role banner to convert a regular div into a banner landmark. Why banner? Because NVDA and JAWS announces header as a banner region. The equivalent in the HTML tag for banner is a header tag. Always go with the HTML tags first and only use ARIA attributes when the equivalent HTML tags are not available. The best practice for banners, there must be only one banner on a page. Next, we have navigation landmark. This groups together your site menus, links, or internal navigation areas. A screen reader announces this region as navigation region. Simply wrap your menu in a div and give it a role navigation with ARIA label like primary. Screen readers will announce it as a navigation landmark. But HTML5 offers a cleaner choice. Simply use the nav tag and you can keep the ARIA label for extra clarity. HTML's nav tag is semantic, easier to write, and automatically recognized by assistive technologies. Both method works, but nav tag is the simpler and widely used. Best practice is to use ARIA label to provide a unique, accessible name for repeating landmarks. For example, you have primary navigation, footer navigation, and social links. Secondly, don't use generic labels like menu. They will confuse your screen reader users. Next, we have the main landmark, and this is the main content of the page. The real reason your page exists. If you wrap your content in a div and give it a role main, screen reader will recognize as the main landmark of the page. However, HTML gives us a simpler way. Instead of div with ARIA, we can use just the main element. Both approaches tells a screen reader that this is the main content. But HTML is easier to write and harder to mess up. Talking about best practice, never nest your main inside the section or an article tag. And don't put two main landmarks on one page. That again confuses a screen reader user, especially when you are using skip to main content functionality. Comment yes or no if you know what skip to main content actually does. Search landmark is your site's search functionality. You can add a landmark for search by giving your form a role search. That way, screen readers instantly know that this section is meant for searching only. Again, HTML5 also has a built-in option. So instead of using role search, you can simply wrap the form inside the search element. Talking about the best practices, always use role search in conjunction with the form for best support. Next, we have complementary landmark. Think of this as your sidebar for extra information. Not the main content, but still useful. For side content like related videos, you might use a div with the role complementary and add an ARIA label like related videos. Screen readers will recognize it as a supporting content. But HTML5 has a side tag. Wrap the same content in a side and also include the ARIA label. This will enable assistive technologies to know its purpose automatically. Best practice is always to give a unique accessible name with ARIA labels. Next, we have form landmark. If your page has a form, it can be grouped with role form. You could wrap a form in a div and give it a role of form with an ARIA label like sign up form. Screen readers will treat this as a form landmark. Again, we have an HTML equivalent and you can simply use the form element with the same ARIA label, achieving the same effect without the need of additional ARIA attributes. The native form element is semantic. It's automatically recognized by assistive technologies, simpler to code and easier to maintain. Best practice for a form is to only use it if the form is significant, like a checkout or sign up form. Don't overuse it. If every small form becomes a landmark, it dilutes the real purpose. Next, we have footer or content info landmark. At the bottom of every page is your footer, and that's a content info landmark. You might wrap up your footer content in a div with the role of content info. And inside, you could have a navigation with ARIA labels like footer navigation. Screen readers will recognize it as a page footer area. Again, HTML provides a simpler option. The footer element does all this natively. You can still include the navigation tag with ARIA labels, and assistive technology will automatically recognize it as the footer section. Best practice is to have only one content info landmark per page. Finally, we have the region landmark, and this is for marking significant content areas that don't fit into any other roles. So you might wrap a section in a div and give it a role region with an accessible name using ARIA label like chat with Param. Screen readers will announce this area as a distinct region on the page. Comment what's the HTML alternative for role region. The best practice when it comes to role region is to always have a unique accessible name. Use it sparingly, otherwise your page becomes a landmark rabbit hole. Here's a table highlighting the HTML tags and their equivalent ARIA landmarks. Remember, only use ARIA when HTML tags are not available. Comment ARIA landmarks to get a Word document for this table. Let's talk about the common mistakes that I see all the time. At number 1 is having more than one header, one main, and one footer. Each page must have only one of these elements. Secondly, it's about landmarks with no accessible names. Imagine having two nav elements. Both will be announced as navigation. A screen reader will not be able to understand which navigation is it. They will not be able to differentiate between the primary navigation and the secondary navigation. And lastly, it's over landmarking. Everything is not a landmark. Keep it simple and meaningful. What's the most confusing landmark that you have seen? Drop it in the comments. Okay, now you know what our different landmarks are, but how do you ensure that they are working? There are two ways that you can verify if the landmarks are working correctly or not. To begin with, use ANDI, a free plugin that you can install today. Simply open ANDI, go to Structure and select Landmarks. Use the previous and the next button to move from one landmark to another. Keep a close eye on the ANDI output. It should have a unique name with no alerts or errors. Or try it yourself with a screen reader. If you're using NVDA, press D, D as in Denmark. For JAWS users, press R, R as in region, to jump from one landmark or region to another. Let's turn on our NVDA screen reader and test for it. The very first thing that you as a developer or a tester must do is refresh the page. And from this point onwards, because I'm using NVDA, I'm gonna press D, D as in Denmark, to jump from one region to another. Let's have a listen together.
Clickable banner landmark primary navigation landmark list with 3 items home link, site search landmark search videos, main landmark skills sing, empowering you to master web accessibility heading level 1.
So every time I'm moving from one region to another, it is giving me sufficient clue like what that region is all about. So for example, it said main region, and it also announced skills sing, empowering you to master web accessibility. Let's have a listen for the next region on the page.
Complementary landmark related resources heading level 3.
Again, same thing. It says complementary landmark and announce the main heading of that section. I'm going to press D again.
Chat with Perm region speech balloon chat with Perm button.
Now that's the beauty of using landmarks. If I would have been using tab keys, it would have easily taken me 11 tabs to reach this point. But by pressing D directly, I'm on chat with Param's region. Now if I press enter, it should trigger chat with Param button. See, that's the power of using landmarks in the right way. Let's close this. I'm gonna press D one more time.
Content info landmark copyright 2025 skills sing.
It's going to the content info, which is my footer section. As you just saw, landmarks are one of the easiest way to implement with highest impact. Landmarks don't change your site visually, but they completely transform how someone using a screen reader experiences your website. And that's the kind of impact we all want to make. So now you know every major ARIA landmark, what it means, how to use it right, and how to avoid mistakes. Your next step is to go back to one of your projects and check landmarks. And then come back to this video and put it in the comments. Which one did you forget, or which one surprised you the most? And if this video helped you, do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with one person on your team. Because the more developers and testers understand ARIA landmarks, the more inclusive the web becomes for everyone. This is Param Singh signing off. See you in the next video.